Did In Time predict the 2020 economy within a Robin Hood plot? It's day 139 of 365. Today's movie, In Time. Ticket Stub Movie Club won't cost you time off of your clock. That is, unless you binge our hundreds of videos and exclusive vodcasts. You can check all that out over at patreon.com/ticketstubmovieclub. This one's directed by Andrew Niccol and stars Justin Timberlake, Amanda Seyfried, and Cillian Murphy. And I won't waste more than a few of your precious minutes talking about this Robin Hood sci-fi thriller. When the trailer dropped for this one, I was stoked. It had all the trappings of things that I like, and I especially like the high concept premise. The arm clock thing has been done a few times since then, but I don't think any of them have been done as well as it's done in this one, so I was definitely on board for the premise. Going to see the movie, I loved it. This movie has a high gloss finish. It is a gorgeous looking movie, and so that was enough to just enrapture me the first time I saw it. I ended up liking this one so much that I eventually bought the DVD, and so I've seen it a few times over the years, and I won't lie, it soured maybe a little on me over that time. Justin Timberlake is not as good as I recall him being. And that's not to say he isn't sometimes good. He's often a good actor, but I just don't think this was the role for him. Honestly, I think Cillian Murphy would have been the better lead to be cast here, but because of his look at the time, he doesn't have the good guy look, so he didn't often get lead roles like that. Harlan Ellison, the writer, actually went to sue the production because of copyright infringement on his book Repent Harlequin, Said the TikTok Man. I'm not kidding, TikTok man is a word that's been in our vocabulary since the 1960s. And I guess Ellison felt similar to me because eventually he dropped the lawsuit and even refused to have his name attached to the movie, which is something they offered to him, I guess because of the quality of the film. I don't blame him. If that's not the craziest thing to hear about this, I don't know what is. Maybe we could adopt TikTok man as part of our modern vernacular, but it comes from a 1965 sci-fi book. Revisiting this in 2025, I can kind of tell that there was a looming feeling over this movie because this director's previous big sci-fi hit was Gattaca, which is an excellent fucking movie. With the bar set that high, I'm a little worried that going into this one, they felt they had to achieve that, so they brought in a lot of real talent, but I don't know, this one is just kind of middling for me now. It splits the room with the arguments. I can see people really loving this. I would never blame you for loving it. There's a lot in here that I love, but anybody that hates it, I kind of get it. There's just a lot happening here and not all the gels and flavors mixed together. Olivia Wilde plays Justin Timberlake's mom, and they just have more chemistry, I think, than even he and Amanda Seyfried do. So that's kind of weird because of the premise that everybody stops aging at 25. But I digress. There are good things to talk about here, so let's talk about the three things that I liked about In Time. The first thing that I really dig about this movie is the Robin Hood allegory. If you're gonna do something like this, go all the way, and they adapted all the characters. Will is obviously our Robin Hood. They even have a game for him to play where you can show off how talented he is within it. Sylvia becomes our Maid Marian. She's related to the royalty, but her heart is with the people, and she ends up siding with Robin Hood. Philippe then becomes our Prince John. I wish there had been a King Richard to go along with all this, but alas, not to be found in this one. Having a Prince John, though, is excellent. He could have been skeevier, if you ask me. More time in the movie, even compared to what happens in the Disney Robin Hood. I feel like they could have taken some notes there, but what do I know? And then finally, Cillian Murphy as Raymond Leon, our timekeeper. He's our Sheriff of Nottingham, and he becomes a really tragic character in this, especially as the layers of the capitalist critique come to the surface and we find out he does not make a lot of money doing this. He used to live amongst the people. And honestly, it's that betrayal that makes him such a great villain within this, even more than our Prince John character, who was just born into the lap of luxury. We have a guy that betrayed his working class. That's not only a comment on capitalism, but a comment on policing as well. I love that that's baked into this. There's a lot happening under the hood here, but a movie can't be made on metaphor, so I understand if that's not enough to get you to dig this movie. The second thing that I really dig about this movie is that it's fucking gorgeous, and of course, Roger Deakins is here as the cinematographer. So let me just use this as a minute to suck Roger Deakins' dick. The man can do anything. Good movies, bad movies, it doesn't matter. He's going to show up and do his job to the absolute fucking best of his abilities. There's something about shooting LA in a way to make it feel not like LA. This feels like a distant future. This feels like a sci-fi alternate reality. Gattaca also has a very distinct visual palette. And so I love that when you make a sci-fi movie, making it feel like it has its own world is something that they want to bring to the table. And Deakins crushed that here. There are just random dialogue scenes that I would find myself going, wow, this looks really good. This is really well lit. This is really gorgeous and sharp. Nothing's way underlit or overlit, which would be easy to do in like an LA setting, making everything like super saturated and bright and like the whites blown out. No, that's not happening here. And then the nighttime scenes are really, really well lit. We can see everything in detail, even if it's just in silhouette. There's just so much beauty happening across this movie that even close-ups of people's arms just end up looking so much better than with any other cinematographer at the helm. I think any movie that is considered bad that still has Deakins attached to it is probably at least good for how it looks. Think about The Village. Now, I'm a Village defender. I love that movie, and I think it's grossly misunderstood. And I get it, you don't like the twist. That's like one minor thing across an otherwise amazing movie with excellent performances and beautiful cinematography, because again, Deakins was there making it. I think he's the guy that can rescue a movie from being mid to being great. And if you love In Time, I bet you would have to admit part of the reason you like it is because it is so nice to watch. It looks really good. And that can be the make or break as to whether you want to put a movie on at all. The third and final thing that I love about In Time is its anti-capitalist messaging. Now, Robin Hood is innately an anti-capitalist story. Taking from the rich and giving to the needy is just morally good, straight up. You don't need to make any other points about that. But because this is an update on the story and it's talking about it in a future setting, also in a sci-fi setting, there's more that we get to say here. We get to talk about the police more directly, like I said in my previous point. There's a lot about the logic of the movie that gets lost in trying to keep this metaphor. And so I understand that being frustrating for the watch. Time is money is a very simple way to sum up this movie, and there's a lot more happening here, and it becomes so complicated that I understand when people don't enjoy it. So if you want to rewatch this one in a way that you get to like it a little bit more, don't think about it in the terms of time is money. Instead, think about that as the key that unlocks a door to a much larger room full of other metaphors that the movie's trying to discuss with you. Its looseness with the language can be a little frustrating, so if you allow that looseness to take you and instead use that to examine the things that the movie wants to examine with you, you can have a lot better time. This movie wants to bathe in metaphor, and it doesn't want to bathe in logic or logistics. That's why the final heist of the movie, where they steal 1,000,000 years, doesn't have a large planning sequence or even that much setup. It's trying to deliver a point about billionaires not being able to exist. They have a line at the end of the movie where for someone to be immortal, if even one person has to die, they don't deserve that immortality. That's a message straight to the billionaires. I love that. I love that it's poignant and it's an arrow straight into the heart of this. Hey, this is Robin Hood, metaphor. Don't watch this movie with a logic cap on. That's my advice. And if you can only watch movies that way, I feel bad for you because you're gonna miss out on a good time, especially with movies like this that ask you to instead engage in artistry and metaphor. But what do you think? Are you a fan of In Time, or was this one that frustrated you? We're gonna go from time heists into tower heists, because that's our next movie. We're talking tower heists, and I'll see you tomorrow.